Welcome to the Pinnacle podcast. We're here for Ep.3. How exciting! Ross,
Ooh.
this is an exciting moment.
Okay.
Just a reminder, the Pinnacle Pod is our official podcast from Pinnacle Performance, a space to share real stories, coaching wisdom, mindset shifts, and everything in between.
I'm just going to share false stories today, actually.
False stories. Okay, fake news. Brilliant.
Fake news.
That's not what we want to do to promote the pod.
All right, then.
It's about honest conversations, practical insights, and building a strong community inside and outside the gym. So that's why we exist. That's why we do what we do. Like I said, it's Ep.3, which is hugely exciting. And on the back of the conversations that we've had, we thought today we'd talk about training, why you train, what motivates you to train. We'll touch on things like self-sabotage, and more importantly, we'll see where the conversation goes, because with these two, you never really know. So we like to start the week off with my co-hosts, Andy and Ross, introducing yourselves, and then go for what have you learned this week?
I think, Ross, you go first, pal. If you go first,
Oh.
that would be fabulous.
So kind. What have I learned this week? I've learned that as a Scotsman, you shouldn't go for a run in the middle of the day in this heat. It's pretty brutal. Dan's decided to program in a lot of plyometric stuff into our training sessions.
Okay, wait, hold on. Plyometrics.
Jumping. Simple terms.
Okay.
Jumping and bounding. Yeah. And then at the end of that session, it includes a run, and the run was the savage bit.
What are you training for?
I don't know.
Oh, brilliant! So you're
Just
training.
Survival.
Okay,
but
brilliant.
I feel like
Dan's
it's going the
School
opposite
of
way.
Hard Knocks is what
Yeah,
you're training
it was good
for.
fun, to be fair, because it's more like a little bit of fartlek training. So you got like 100-meter run, a bit of a walk, a run, a walk. So it wasn't too bad in that respect. And actually doing it, it felt okay. It was when I got home. That's when like shit hit the fan, and I was like
midday.
Yeah.
In the one week of the year when England is in summer.
Chucking back pork scratchings and
brilliant.
Anything sugary.
For anyone who's listening, we'll have a session on proper nutrition. Pork scratching's probably not the best of things. Okay.
Depends when you have them, I suppose, or how much you're having is probably more the takeaway from that.
So learning this week is don't go for a run in the midday sun.
Maybe wait till the evening, Ross.
Yeah, a little bit more sensibility. But again, you were with Dan, so you know. Andy, how about you?
I think mine is having 4 kids, as you know. I keep on mentioning it. They're young, aren't they? And they're just there in tow, aren't they? Yeah, there's a few of them just running off here and there, especially
when you've got 4.
Having 2 kids, well, 2 girls and 2 boys. You having two boys,
yeah.
So you understand where we're coming from there. I would say, when does it get to that point when they just don't need you anymore? Because they're always there in tow, aren't they? And it's hit me really hard the last, I would say, year or so, where just literally done my daughter's prom, and my oldest daughter, she's now leaving college.
Yeah.
And I'm sat in the living room on my own, and they're just not interested unless they want food or a bit of attention.
Ooh, tough one.
Yeah, that's my learning. It's emotional learning.
Emotional learning. So, okay, that's really, I'm itching to dive into that and go, so what are you going to do about it and all that sort of stuff. But this is not a coaching podcast in that sense. No. But you're right. I felt that on a micro level in my son who's going up to senior school next year, or what do you call it, secondary school in this country. And he won't hold my hand anymore in public.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So he's like, all right, Mum, see you.
How old is he?
11.
Oh, okay. I thought you said 21.
21. Do I look like I could have a 21-year-old, Ross?
Absolutely not, actually.
Yeah, correct. Right answer. So yeah, no, I totally agree. That's probably a whole subject on its own, though. We could talk about parenting and the losses. That's your learning. So your learning is.
What my learning is, to go and learn about how to accept your children growing up.
I think it's more a realization, isn't it, than a learning this week.
Yeah, I call it realization, but from the realization, I now have to go and learn about how to cope with it. Coping mechanisms.
Yeah, a whole heap of money to spend on therapy then.
I already do therapy already.
Do you?
Well, I have a sports psychologist actually, who I've
Ooh.
worked with for about 5 years, and you think that you are using them for sport,
but it's not that at all.
But actually, it's not that at all. They I would say maybe 5 or 10% of it's the sport related thing,
Yeah.
psychology of what you're doing, how you're going to do it.
Mm.
But actually, we worked on how to get yourself in the best place possible to go to an event and the decks are clean.
Mm.
Do you understand what I mean by that?
Yes, totally. It's,
So
it's
you're
a
in a
mental
good
game.
mindset.
Yeah, it's a mental. But you can train your body as much as you want, but it's a mental game, isn't it? But we're going into detail here.
Yeah,
Which,
we are. Let's move on.
Let's move on. So I wanted to say something about that now with your kids as well.
We can always
The
come back to
thing
it.
we can always come back to it. The only thing I would say is they are aging, but we are aging too, and that's the thing you forget. Like you still feel that you're probably 12, 13, 14 years ago, the same person, but except when you get out of bed in the morning and you feel somewhat
do.
older. My learning this week has been all about agentic AI, mesh frameworks and architecture, and how to build various agentic frameworks. A lot of the come on. You said I could share what I do. So, okay, thank you. But a lot of the companies I'm working with at the moment are looking at how agentic AI, which is a different way of doing AI, is going to revolutionize the world. And I think it's a fascinating topic, and I could probably spend a lot of time talking about it. But Ross is yawning. And
it's gone mostly over my head as well. But
has it? Okay,
yeah.
sorry. But I can
We're
bore
not on
you
that
with
level.
it. No. It's super interesting though, super interesting. And actually it's like every business ought to be thinking about how this is going to revolutionize not their business, but what they do in their business and how they do it. So it's super cool. Anyway, more on that to come another time. So today we're focusing on why we train, and we've spoken about the journey of the gym. We've spoken about why Pinnacle exists, and you guys have come into coaching and we've spoken about that, which is super cool. But like, why do people train? Why do you train? What's your motivation? Who wants to go first?
I reckon Ross. Oh, do you want me to go first on that? I think having spent probably how long have you been in the fitness industry?
Oh, easily 10, 12 years. What, doing this job? Yeah, 10, 12 years.
Yeah, and I would say people train from who's come into the gym. People train. Personally, I think it's for a mental health perspective, with a vision as to what they personally want to be.
Do you want to expand on that a bit?
So some people will train because they aesthetically want to look better. But some people want to train because they were in a really bad divorce and they have fallen off a cliff a little bit. They don't feel great and they want to make themselves feel better.
Mm-hmm.
And training does that. Because their body will change. And even if it doesn't, and this is not even size related here, this is just to do with their personal mental well-being. And training doesn't matter what you do. You go into the gym, you train, you feel better when you leave. We've got people here that if there was no training or they couldn't train, it would be probably not a good time for them. And I remember when we had our flood, a lot of people, the reason why they helped us so much because they didn't want it to close, did they?
Yeah, they wanted to come back and train.
That would be one of them. And I would say, for me personally, if I don't have a purpose, I'm bad shape.
Okay.
Bad shape. I grew up in one of the roughest European cities, and it was basically drugs, drink, gangs. And if I hadn't joined the British Army and had focus and had purpose and gone on that way, I'd probably been in pretty bad shape.
Yeah. So people coming in because they aesthetically want to change their bodies, but there is also a mental element where people coming in because it mentally helps them feel better. And then there is on a physiological level, the dopamine hit that you get, isn't there? The chemical reaction of training, which people crave, don't they?
Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
That's the funny thing is social media.
But I don't think everyone knows that. I think people will come into the gym because they want to lose weight or they want to tone up or something. And actually they then get hooked because they think, actually, I feel good when I come to the gym. And that I don't think people truly appreciate on a physiological level what's happening in your body.
I could rewind on what I said there. So right and wrong. And there is no right and wrong. But what I'm saying is for example, in I was born in 1978.
It's old.
And I would probably say my generation, we don't need to go whether it's millennial generation, whatnot. What I'm saying is my generation training wasn't normalized.
No, it was
Whereas
a thing you
Ross
did.
is high end of millennial
He's also
age.
struggling to stay awake
And
by the
what,
looks
what
of
I'm
it.
saying is, if I was to ask Ross in a minute, training is more normalized in their world. And what's really good from a gym
Interesting
perspective
comment, yeah.
is that millennials who know that are now becoming more financially free because they're in the sort of mid 30s. They're coming towards mid 30s and they're more financially free, or they're in better jobs that help them to think about looking after themselves. Whereas I think people from my generation and older, if I look at my dad, for example, he knows that he needs to look after his body, but he's never ever going to go near a gym.
No, a bit's a foreign concept to them, isn't it?
Absolutely.
That's not what you do. You do it through your life and what you build. Yeah, I'm interested to hear your perspective, Ross. So go let's start again. Why do you
Well,
train?
I feel like Keir Starmer's doing a good job at not making me financially free. But apart
Well,
from
that is true. There's another podcast in that one.
yeah. Jeez. Sorry, what was the question? What did you want to know?
Why do you train? So
Why do I train?
Andy's
Well,
made a reference to age differences and different ways of approaching training, but
yeah,
tell
a
us why
quick
you
one I
train.
wanted to touch on one of the topics he discussed. My experience of people coming in and wanting to train initially is from a very sort of physical point of view.
Yeah.
And then after the first session, they quickly realize actually this is incredible mentally.
Yes.
And actually then the physical side of it obviously doesn't take a back seat, but then they start to come because they feel emotionally better when they didn't. Quite often not, the feedback I get is they said, I had no idea I would feel this good mentally.
Yeah.
I was just here for the physical stuff.
Yeah.
So that's sort of my feedback from that. But do you mean why do I train personally?
Well, why do you, well, as well? Yeah.
Yeah, so from a personal point of view, like Andy said, from like he has to have a purpose. Mine used to be that way. So all my training was either for rugby, or then it was for strongman, and then it was for like jiu-jitsu / sort of bit of sailing as well. So mine has always been. My dad actually instilled in me from a young age that if you get in the gym, Ross, and you put the effort in outside of that sport, like at the time it was rugby, then you'll enjoy your sport more. And that can be from a professional point of view. That can be from an amateur point of view.
Yeah.
I think if you have some level of base fitness, then whatever sport or hobby it is, active hobby it is you're doing, you're going to enjoy it and get more out of it.
100%. Yeah.
And that's kind of always been the crux of why I've trained. I've not competed in anything for a while, but I think now it's just become, rather than a motivational thing, it's now just the motivation is gone. It's out the window. It's now just a discipline thing.
Interesting.
And like you go and do your fruit and veg shop a week, or, like you go and do whatever, go fill your car up every week or whatever. Yeah. Oh, very, very sheltered life.
This is exciting.
Yeah.
What do you do in a
All I
week,
do
Ross?
is train and shop fruit and veg. Then it just becomes habitual.
Yeah.
It's then
like
just
brushing your teeth, isn't
there
it?
you go.
There
Yeah.
you go.
I do that daily as well, twice.
Thanks, Mum.
Yeah. Then it just becomes a discipline thing.
But there is I think you're so right. There's a discipline thing, but there is a mental reward for doing it.
Sure.
So if you were to stop for 2 weeks, how bad would you feel?
Well, speaking from a scientific point of view,
yes.
there is a reason why you feel good when you train.
Me.
And apparently it harks back to caveman times. So when
you
would go out,
now?
everything I say is not dodgy. There is some serious stuff that comes out.
Okay, listening. I'm listening.
So when you'd go back to like caveman times, right, and you'd hunt and you'd get your endorphins off that hunt, it was almost like a survival. You then feel good from the hunt. Obviously, you then eat. You feel good from the eating, and that's what fuels you to then go out and hunt again. It's like a survival kind of mechanism. That's why veganism is not the way forward. Guys.
Oh, let's not go there.
Yeah, I don't remember them going out and feeling good for getting a salad.
Move on.
So yeah, apparently that is why we feel good when we train. It's that stimulation of movement in the body that then wants you wanting more.
It's a chemical
basically.
reaction.
Yeah, it's a chemical reaction.
It's exactly the same chemical reaction that marketeers use, that social media use.
Yeah.
It's the same physical reaction in your brain that happens. Speaking of marketeers, actually, one of our key supporters of the Pinnacle Gym.
I like what she did there.
Did
that
you
was
like?
good.
Was that good? Was
Yeah,
that smooth?
was good.
One of our key supporters of Pinnacle Gym is Vicky Lincoln. So Vicky has a garden design business. Yep, she's on. You can't see it in the pod right now. Andy's pointing to it, but she does bespoke gardens and landscapes that make you feel good every day. So Vicky is actually one of the oldest serving members here at Pinnacle, isn't she, Andy?
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about her.
Yeah, the first gym over the road, about 100 meters away.
Yeah.
The tin gym.
The tin gym.
Yeah, she was one of the first people to walk in.
Brilliant.
She's incredible.
Yeah.
And some people it's like highlighting in person. Yeah, she's really. And do you know what? It's incredible what she does as a job now, because that is, you
100%.
need to be strong for that, don't you?
You have to be really strong. You have to physically strong for that and mentally strong. But Vicky's background is in marketing and stuff, and that's where she cut her teeth, and now she's gone and she's done her own thing. I'll tell you another story about Vicky. When I was 3.5 years ago looking for getting fit and strong again, I went into the Pinnacle website and I saw a picture of Vicky having completed her 12-week program.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
I saw a picture of her. I know Vicky through sailing, and I messaged her and I'm like, Vicky, I'm interested in going to Pinnacle. Like, what's it like? Because I'm a bit nervous. What we spoke about last week. It looks like a really serious gym, and I'm not really a serious gymmer.
Yeah.
And she was like, you should come along. It's really great. And oh boy, am I glad that I did, because everything that we've just said about feeling good mentally, physically, and all of that sort of stuff has been so true. So it was only down to Vicky, and I had a conversation with you, but it was down to Vicky bringing me in and saying you should come, and I get to see her regularly as well.
Yeah, the continuity in here is, that's one thing I love about this place. We've got members. We've said on the previous podcast, we've been here such a long time, haven't they?
Yeah,
which I really love.
Anyway, that was a little sideways move into.
I like that. We learned that's one of our. We'll slip that into the podcast.
Slip that into the podcast and make sure our supporters are rightfully called out. Can we tag her in the thing as well?
Yeah, we'll tag.
Let's tag her. Cool.
We'll start doing that. It's a great idea.
Do you know how?
I will learn.
We'll figure it out.
We're early days.
So growth mindset is another thing, isn't it? So why we train. We're coming back to why we train.
Yeah.
There is an opposite to why we train is why we don't train. And what are the reasons why we don't train? The term is self-sabotage.
Yeah.
And talk to me about, in your experience of being a coach, or even as a professional athlete, both of you, self-sabotage is something people wake up, the alarm clock goes off and they roll over, go back to sleep. So where do we want to go with that?
Yeah, it's interesting one, this. And just bear with me on it, because it sounds like I'm sort of messed up or something. But having worked with a sports psychologist, thanks, Ross. I'm slightly strange, but yeah.
You're not strange.
Having worked with a sports psychologist for a 5-year period now, there's an argument to be said that everybody needs a sports psychologist or a psychologist to help them navigate life. It's good to have your friend. Of course, people have friends, but some people have a lot of friends. Some people don't have lots of friends. Some people have friends that are a little bit too biased towards their friend. And I think having a sports psych was really, really cool, because actually he taught me about mindset and how to wake up in the morning. For example, don't snooze. When the alarm goes off and you're supposed to get up at 7, no snoozing 3 times. That's not a thing. And what you've planned to do in that day, do what you plan to do in that day. Yes, it might not go perfect, but you aim to do that.
Yeah.
And for me, training wise, it's like I am going running at 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
And sometimes when work and life becomes really challenging, I do things like, for example, in fact, Johnny Brownlee taught me this one, is to put my kit by the door. That's one. That's probably one. And the other one is just put your clothes on, put your training gear on. And so you can't stop yourself from doing that.
But what if you wake up and it's raining and it's a bit miserable outside and you feel, I had a bit of a later night than normal, feel a bit sleepy, just be so nice to just roll over and go back to sleep, mate.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You have to put those principles in place to have that continuity to be able to not stop yourself or sabotage because once you do it, it's great, isn't it? Once you get there, the amount of
100%.
people I've had a conversation with, they
Yeah.
said, I didn't really want to turn up today, but
But
now
I
I've
did.
seen you or I train now and
Mm.
you've talked to me, I
Mm.
feel great, and they go off on their
Mm.
merry way.
Yeah. Okay, just before you add in there, because I'm sure it'll be a gem.
So, yeah.
Conscious training, conscious living. I have a theory about people go through life who they just unconsciously go through their day. Like it's all very sort of, it just happens around them.
Yeah.
But I think when you consciously plan something in and you consciously go, tomorrow is a training day, I'm going to go, you pack your bags the night before, you get your training kit out, maybe. I get my bike out of the garage and get it ready so that when I get up in the morning, the bike's there ready to go. Like it's conscious.
Yeah.
Because I think if you don't, it's too easy to just roll back over and go back to sleep.
Because you're setting yourself up.
Yeah, because you're
That's what I'm
setting
getting. You're
yourself up.
setting yourself up to do it.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time, even when it relates to business, so for example, you get up in the morning, you've had your breakfast, you've brushed your teeth, you've gone through your process, you've taken your vitamins, you've
Yeah.
given the kids a cuddle, or they've sent them off.
Yeah.
You go to the gym, you train, you go into work. And I think, personally, with all the business owners I've worked with and probably Ross over the years, they definitely have succeeded and in what they're doing because of that, having that mindset.
Yeah, consciously doing it. And the self-sabotage will come in when you're not clear perhaps on your goals and what you're doing and why you're doing it. And if you don't purposefully feel like you own those, that's when it all comes in. It's a fascinating topic.
That all goes back to the mindset thing, because you can't know everything.
No.
Some people think they do.
Yeah.
They think they're arrogant enough to think that I don't need a sports psychologist. I don't need help. I don't need to do this. I can do everything myself. No one got anywhere doing something by themselves.
No.
It's absolute BS.
It's not uncommon in the business world to have a business coach or an executive coach or somebody that you can talk to. It's not uncommon. And I think the beauty in that, you mentioned a friend will unconsciously have a bias towards your best. So they will always want to make sure that you're getting the best, and they will inadvertently, tell you the good stuff. Whereas you need somebody in your life who can tell you, hold the mirror up and actually play back to you what they're seeing and work through it with you. So it's a really interesting link between sport and coaching and business, and how they all make a difference.
They're all related. You wake up in the morning. You woke up this morning.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying is, you woke up this morning. I get excited about this, and you've made a decision. You woke up.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not talk about look at your phone first or whatever. But you've gone, I'm going to get on with what I need to do.
Yeah, 100%.
But for some people, that doesn't happen.
No, because I think I mean, and to put myself into their shoes, I think there is enough of a reason sometimes not to do it. And that's where the sabotage comes in. Ross, let's bring you in here because I'm keen to hear your thoughts as well.
This is actually quite an interesting topic for me personally at the moment, because self-sabotage isn't entirely something I'm familiar with personally. As I've mentioned before, my dad was a big influence growing up that instilled quite a lot of discipline in me from an early age. And from studies I've read and people I've talked to, it is far easier for a youngster to have that discipline instilled so that then it carries on later in life.
Yeah.
I find from a coaching point of view, working with someone that hasn't necessarily got involved with sport from a young age, and the sort of discipline side that sport naturally instills in you, trying to then instill that in them as an adult is quite a difficult thing to do. So actually with the members, clients, whatever you want to call them, that I'm working with at the moment, that's actually a big thing for me, and that I've now tried to open up more communication links with them to try and figure out what makes them tick from a point of view that is self-sabotage.
Yeah.
Trying to come at it from that angle, like, what is going to get you in the gym? What do I need to do that's going to get you in the gym? Because from a personal point of view, like I said, I don't understand it, because I've always been that person that's always got themselves in the gym, whether I'm injured, whether I'm ill, whether I don't feel like it, whether it's raining, it was always like, you just get it done.
Yeah.
Don't give yourself the option or the excuse. If you literally just don't give yourself the option or the excuse, then you have to do it. There is no room for self-sabotage. But like I said, not everyone has necessarily
Wired
had
that
that
way.
instilled in them
No,
or been wired
exactly.
that way. So now for me, from a personal point of view and from a coaching point of view, I'm actually on a journey
Oh, good.
of discovery.
You don't have to say it like that. It's okay to just
To,
own it.
Such an Americanism that I can't stand it. To try and figure out why people self-sabotage.
Yeah.
The only thing I can sort of liken it to a little bit is, from a personal point of view, is when I was playing rugby, I wasn't always the most confident. I was always told I had the most ability, but I wasn't always the most confident. So maybe from a self-sabotage point of view, maybe from a personal point of view, it's that little voice in your head that's saying, oh, you're not good enough, or you can't do this. That can be the only way I can relate to.
Confidence plays a big part. The other massive part is
Yeah.
why you're doing it.
Yeah.
So I'll give you a really good example. If I wake up in the morning and I'm feeling, as women do, we wake up, you feel a bit, feel yourself, you're feeling a bit fat, you put a pair of jeans on, you feel like you're feeling a bit fat. I'm like, right, okay, I need to focus for the next week on what I'm eating, get myself back in shape. I'll do that because I feel I need to do it. If, however, somebody close to me that feels they can do this, but they're close enough to me to go, you're looking a bit, you should really lose a bit of weight. Do you know what I'll do? I'll go and eat.
Oh, your response if someone says you need to lose some weight is you go and eat?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
okay.
because that's my mental response to it. It's like an emotional thing. I'll go and eat. My point being is that if I choose to do something, I have the purpose, and it's the reason I'm doing it is for me and why I'm doing it. If somebody else tells me to do it, it's unlikely that I'll do it to the same level. Same with training. Like, I'm only here because I want to be here. If Harry was to say to me, you need to come in at 12 o'clock on a Tuesday to do the, I probably wouldn't respond to it as well. I do it because I'm that sort of person, but it has to be because I want to do it.
So quickly, sorry. So then from a coaching point of view, how would we best get the best out of you?
Find out why I do something.
Yeah.
Work out why it is that I want to be here in the first place. What motivates me as an individual? Because it's the whole theory of you can take a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. It's the same thing. Like, if you find out somebody's motivation, it might even be as simple as, I need to be out the house for an hour because I've got somebody else in the house, or I want to be here because I want to do something. It's finding that motivation.
Yeah.
And the minute you've got the actual motivation, they will respond differently. I guarantee, if you want to talk about this offline,
Yeah.
if you've got somebody you're struggling with, 100%.
Yeah, it wasn't it was not one individual, but
No, but in general.
Yeah, in general, yeah. Just finding what each individual makes them
their
tick and
motivation?
what's
Because you love your training and you come in and you do it and it's part of your routine and you feel good, doesn't necessarily mean it's the same for somebody else. Andy desperately wants to say something.
I do because it's something close to my heart a little bit. Where not when I say close to my heart, something that I've been digging into is the best way of putting an analogy to this is someone supporting a football team, let's say Man United.
Yep.
Okay. And Man United, in fact, no, I'm going to rewind actually.
What about Southampton, maybe?
I rewind this one. I worked in an army unit where it was full of people, they're all Middlesbrough supporters.
Yeah.
I was based in Catterick, obviously the northeast. And when Middlesbrough lost, it was like the shittest week going because they're all down in the dumps.
Yeah.
So they were controlled by an outcome that they can't control.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm getting at is Man United lose or having a bad time. You shouldn't bring that into work. And people are controlled or people try to control people through something they've said that you've exacerbated or made up in your head. Do you understand what I mean by that?
I'm struggling to relate that back
So someone's
to why
coming
you
up
do
to
what
you.
you do.
No, I'm relating it to what you said. Someone said to you that you feel fat or
You
about
look
an
fat,
eating thing, right? Now I would train that out of yourself because essentially someone's controlled you. They've controlled your action.
I hear what you're saying.
Through what they've said to you.
Yeah, I completely agree. That's a whole different conversation. I was just using the analogy of, if it isn't based on what I want to do, then the response will be different. So take it out the fact that that was
That's
just
another
an example.
subject, though.
It's totally another subject because I think the way you respond to how people talk to you is huge. And
well,
what they
that
say
happens
to
all
you.
day, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That happens all day. Someone walks in, they don't talk to you.
Perfect. Perfect.
Oh yeah, Ross would like that one.
But so just bringing it back to the self-sabotage thing, I think your point, Ross, is true. But also, I think it's really important that as an individual, you know why you're doing something. Because if you're not doing it for the right reasons, you've had something recently in the last month that you've recognized that you weren't necessarily doing it for the right reasons. So you may have walked away from it.
I'm not gonna
I mean,
talk
that's
about it, but
no,
yeah.
no, we're not going to talk about it. But just as an example,
Yeah.
if you're not in something for the right reasons because you want to be there,
Yeah.
it feels different.
Yeah.
So relating that back to coaching, taking ownership from it and preventing the self-sabotage. The other thing I would say is it's going to happen. There are going to be days when you wake up and actually it ain't going to happen.
You're totally true. And do you know why we know that we are very, what's the right word? That we're very keen on this subject? It's because for the first time on a podcast, we're all sitting in on each other here.
I was gonna
We're
make
all-
it.
That's true.
My
Look
own
at that.
mic, so I
We're
couldn't
getting-
chip in.
For those of you who aren't watching the video, but and listening, we are all literally sitting forward. Oh,
like
Like
almost
we're
like
all-
in a huddle, as though we are.
I'm gonna bring balance to the force and sit back.
Well, when we did the first part, we're all sat back
Very,
like we're all
very.
chilled. Now we're all a bit passionate about something.
we are,
Everybody's sitting forward and we're getting emotional about it.
which is awesome, isn't it? But it's such a
Yeah.
big topic.
Yeah, it's massive topic.
So
Massive
there's
topic why we
lots to
train.
talk about. We can talk about psychology and your response to stress situations. We can talk about how you train and why you train. I mean, there'll be days when I train harder because of something that's happened in the day, and there'll be other days where I don't train as hard because of something that's happened in the day, and that's controlling the controllables.
But you still turned up.
But I still turned up.
And that is the main thing.
That I always do, actually. I always do still turn up.
Because that's the other thing that I try and communicate with my guys is that it's better to turn
And
up
girls.
and have a shit training session than not turn up and not
at
do a
all.
training session,
Yeah.
because then that feeds into the next one, and then you don't turn up to the next one, and then you don't turn up to the next one, and then suddenly you're not accountable, and you're like a week or two,
And
maybe
then-
even a month
and
down the
it
line.
becomes easier to not
Yeah.
go.
And it's
Yeah.
always, and like everything in life, it's when it's all sunshine and rainbows, it is going to feel easier and it is going to feel good, but that doesn't happen all the time. It's the same in the training environment. You can't always train fresh.
No, that's so
You
true.
can't always train feeling $1 million. You know, you just got to show up and get it
You said
done.
to me, because one of the mornings I was like, oh man, everything feels like treacle. It's really hard today. And you made a really good point.
Yeah, rule of thirds.
Yeah, what's that?
Some days it'll be great. Some days it'll be okay. Some days it'll be really bad.
And
And that
all
is
okay.
training. That's just training. That's just
That's-
training life.
I think that's life, mate.
It is life, mate. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I've had it many a time when I've done my training. And, and going back to what people say to you, we are motivated by lots of different things.
Mm.
I cycle in a cycling group on a Wednesday, lovely group, really nice people in that. And actually no one's ever done anything wrong to me at all. However, I manifested in my head that basically there's about 3 to 5 of them in that group that are sort of, I wouldn't say that they're the main people in that cycling group.
Mm.
And my driver in working hard in that session is to beat them, because I know that if I do well in that chain gang, it sounds a bit dodgy, that does, but a chain gang is basically a group of cyclists that basically go from one point to another point in the fastest manner.
This is like the Tour de France. At the interval when they put up the yellow jersey with a name, and then have you watched the Tour de France? Yeah. And then it's like, give me
Focaccia,
give me a term in cycling, quick.
Peloton.
Peloton comes up on the screen.
Yeah.
Then they go into the ad break, and then they come back and they give you the example of what Peloton is, and they say this is what it is.
Yeah.
You've just said chain gang.
Yeah,
Sorry,
chain gang.
total
So,
segue.
A chain gang. I turn up to a chain gang, and if I do well in that, these people don't talk to me.
Oh, interesting.
So that's
But
my
you've
driver.
made that your mission now
Well, I made it my mission, but
because you can.
they basically don't like you because you're doing something that they don't want you to do.
You think?
You
Have you
think.
ever had that conversation
No.
with them? No. Right.
So that's my point. I've completely self-sabotaged and manifested
Made
something
something
in my
out of
head
nothing.
out of nothing.
There you
Because
go.
I'm sure it's absolutely fine. Let's have a beer together.
Is that a self-sabotage or is that a motivational factor? Because Michael Jordan would do the same thing. He would make up scenarios in his head. He'd make up that a player had trash talked him or make up some sort of dirt in his head in order to motivate him to play better. So is that more, have you conjured that up to motivate yourself to cycle harder, pedal harder? Or is
I
that
think,
actually a sabotage?
So I think we're going into Andy's mind here a little bit in terms of Andy's motivations and
We'll
what
charge him in a minute for a therapy session.
Yeah, exactly. We're half an hour in here, boys. But listen, today's session was all about why we train, self-sabotage, and I think what we're hearing is we train for our own individual reasons, but the output of that is almost always a positive output. So outcome at least, and training, no matter a good day, bad day, or indifferent day, is always good for you. Self-sabotage is always going to happen. It's okay to happen, but it's how you mentally prepare yourself for those sessions and what you do to make sure that you minimize the sabotage as much as possible is really good. So great session today, guys. Thank you so much for your time. And I look forward to the next one and hopefully more conversations where we lean in. Thank you.
Thanks very much. Thanks a lot. Thanks so much for that.
Yeah, thanks for listening. Cheers, guys. Appreciate the support.